Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia, and in today's video I am going to do an update to my project Pan Those Eyeshadows. If you don't know what this project is, essentially it's where I try to hit pan or get 20 uses on all of my eyeshadows. And that could be single eyeshadows, eyeshadows in my palettes, and it's all randomized. I use a couple different apps to help generate what shades I'm gonna work on that month. I pick 5 eyeshadow shades and I do try to incorporate one face palette. So if you'd like to see my update, keep on watching. All right, so my first shade comes out of my Tati Beauty palette, and here's what that looks like. And the shade that I had was the sequin shade in the Ritual column, which is this right here. And I have used this shade 11 times, and it doesn't even look like I've made a dent in it. So I typically use this shade in my crease, or I have used it all over my lid, or I use it under my eyes to just add some definition. I've also used it on my outer corner, but I've only used it 11 times. I don't use a ton of the shade. When I do, I wouldn't say it's like my favorite shade. I also wouldn't say this is my favorite eyeshadow palette. I think the only reason why I hang on to it is the fact that it is a Tati Beauty palette. I do like her, you know, taking all whatever drama she has surrounding her out of it, but I did used to watch her when she was on YouTube. I think currently she must be taking a break. But this is a brown matte color with sequin or glitter in it. I don't think that the glitter shows up on my eye when I do use this. That's why I just pop it in the crease. I did try it all over the lid to see if I could get those glitter particles to show up, and I just felt like throughout the day they kind of disappeared, so it just looked like I had a matte brown eyeshadow look on. So like I said, I throw it in my crease and kind of call it a day. I have 11 uses, so I need to use it 9 more times to be able to roll it out. I do not think that I'll hit pan on that shade. The next one that I have comes from my Lorac Pro palette. This is the number 3, and this is what that palette looks like. I can probably flip the mirror over, and I got the shade Blanc. And that's just a cream color shade. I used this shade at least 20 times. I did kind of stop tracking after I got to that 20 mark. And I think if I were to use it maybe consistently for another month or 2, I would hit pan on it. But I am satisfied with the usage that I got since I did get to 20 uses. And I'm going to roll this out. I use this shade to set my eyeshadow primer. I just take a light dusting, put it over my whole eye, and focus it on my brow bone as a highlight. So it really comes in handy having a shade like this and having it in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project, because no matter what, I'm reaching for a shade like this every day. So we're going to roll this out, and I'm going to bring a new one in. Next shade comes from my original Naked palette, and this is like the second one I've purchased. I've already gone through one of these years ago. I've also already used one of these years ago, so those are repurchases. That's why the palette looks pretty new. I rolled the shade Virgin, and I did use this 20 times exactly, and then I didn't use it anymore. I would use it as an inner corner or brow bone. Someone mentioned in their video that Urban Decay shadows are very tightly pressed, and they can be hard to hit pan on, and I guess I have to agree. I figured I would have already hit pan on this, but I did not. However, I'm happy with the usage because I did use it 20 times, and I'm going to roll this out and replace it with a new one. Next, I have my Natasha Denona Glam palette. I have been getting a ton of use out of this palette. I really, really enjoy it. I actually reconfigured the shades and put them in a different order. However, the color that I was focusing on is that gold shade right there. As you can see, I did hit pan on that, and I use my finger with that shade or a small detailed pencil brush to really pack on the color. I think you can kind of see that by the small pan, but also this indent right here that I do use my finger with it quite often. Love, love, loved this shade. I used it all over my lid, under my lower lash line. I took and threw any of the matte shades from this palette in the crease, and it was a look, and I loved it. I felt like it made my eyes pop. It was very simple, and this has really made me fall in love with this palette, and I used it consistently, and I'm loving the cool shades, cool tone shades. So love this. I use this for a total of 19 times. I definitely hit pan before the 19. 19 is what I have. I will tell you guys, I am horrible at tracking usage. I try my best. So most of the time when I tell you I've used something a certain number of times, I've actually used it more than that. But yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? So the next shade comes out of my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk quad, and it's this shade right here. As you can see, I hit pan on that. I did have a fairly large dip in this shade, and I used this shade all over the lid or in my crease, and I used it 16 times, and that's when I started to hit pan. Once I hit pan, I did not track my usage for this shade after that. So I did increase the pan a little bit, but regardless, I did hit pan. And I mean, these are fairly deep shadows, like, you know, nothing crazy. They're not shallow. I think they're just kind of normal. I don't know. But I did already have quite a large dip in that, because when I use this quad, I take that shade and I put it all over my lid, up to my crease, and almost up to my brow bone. So I use quite a bit of it when I do use this quad. I was surprised when I hit pan though. Pleasantly surprised, but surprised. So that's it for my eyeshadows. So now I'm going to grab the face palette that I had randomly picked, and it is the NARS Exposed palette that looks like this, and I had rolled this shade right here, which I think is Give It Away, I think. Here's what that shade looks like. I've got some usage in the corner right here. I have used it exactly 20 times, and I did not touch it again after that. I do not think this shade is super flattering on my skin tone. Definitely not in the winter, maybe in the summer when I'm a bit more tan. So I am happy to be rolling this out. Now the other blush shades, like the formula in general is beautiful. The other blush shades are beautiful, and I really like this highlighter. I reached for it a lot while this was in the project. So that is it for the update. I feel like I went through that pretty quickly. I am going to grab my phone and get my apps pulled up and pick my next shades. Okay, I zoomed you guys in a little bit closer just so you can see my phone a little bit better. I'm going to choose my next face palette first. So I've got my Spin the Wheel app opened with my face palette wheel, and I'm gonna hit spin. Okay, and it looks like we rolled the Benefit Cheek Leaders palette. That's this right here. It does have 3 shades in it. So I'm excited about that. I'll pick a shade at the end. Now I need to roll for 4 more eyeshadow shades, because remember, the Tati Beauty one is staying in the project. Okay, so I've got my Pan Those Palettes little wheel. It's got all my palettes and all my single shades in it. And I'm gonna spin. And we got the Charlotte Tilbury Icon palette. I'm gonna spend 3 more times. The Charlotte Tilbury Starry Eyes. The MAC Nude Model palette. And then last one, Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. Okay, that's surprising. So 3 Charlotte Tilburys and a MAC. So yeah, okay, let me gather those and I'll be right back. Part of me wonders if I shouldn't repeat a palette. I don't know. What's your guys' suggestion? What do you typically do? There's quite a few palettes that still haven't been placed in this project. So I don't know, like, should I not repeat a palette? I guess I'm just going to repeat it this time, and if you guys could let me know what you typically do, I would appreciate it, and maybe I can implement that next year. Alright, so I'm going to start with my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk palette. Obviously this was just in my project and I hit pan on that shade. I am going to roll shade 1 through 4. If I get this shade right here, obviously I'm just going to roll again. So okay, so I got shade 4, which is this last shade right here, and I think that's really good. It's actually the shade I have the least amount of usage on in the palette. That's what the shade looks like. And here is like just a quick overview of my usage. So you can see there's not really a dip in it, where these two shades definitely have dips in them. So I'm excited, you know, we'll put some use into that. I'm totally okay with that. Next I have my Charlotte Tilbury Starry Eyes to Hypnotize palette. This I think was the holiday palette from last year. And there are 12 shades in here, so I've got my little app and I'm going to do 1 through 12 and randomize. And I got shade 5, so that's this shade right here in the Love Glow trio. You can also see I do not have any dips in this one, so there's like barely any usage. It's I think like a copper shade. It will definitely go really well with the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk palette and this shade right here. I mean, that right there could be a look. So, you know, so far we got it easy. By we, I do mean me. And we'll move on to our third Charlotte Tilbury palette. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Icon palette. I think it came out a year or 2 ago. And this has 12 shades in it. Okay, I'm gonna hit randomize. And I got 8. So starting from my left, the left, like on my end, looking at the palette, making my way to the right. Okay, so it is this blue shade, and that is gorgeous. I kind of want to put it like all over my eye. Right there. This formula is very creamy and it could really be built up or more sheer, and hopefully I can show you guys that that also has like no usage in that palette. Our last palette is again the MAC Nude model. I purchased this palette I think when it first came out and haven't really used much of it since. I think that like these shades up here really attracted me, but then I don't use it. So I am excited for it to be in this project. These are the only MAC shades I have, and we will just kind of see. This is also 12 shades, so I'm just gonna hit randomize. And we got shade number 3, which is this shade right here, 1, 2, 3, and this is like a mustard brown, mustardy yellow brown. So doesn't quite go, I don't think. Maybe with the blue, I don't know. What would you guys do? Give me some ideas. Take me out of my comfort zone. So there's all the shadows. That's exciting. I'm excited to get some use out of those. And then I'm going to pick the shade out of the Benefit Cheek Leaders trio, and that's 1 through 3. Okay, so shade 1 is the Gold Rush Blush. I kind of like that this palette is in here. I love the palette, but I mean, there's my bronzer, highlight, and blush. Super easy. You know, and I think it's a beautiful blush shade, so it will go with a lot of looks. Very sheer right there. But that's what I've got. I feel like this video is fairly quick. This project, I think I'm going to call it like done at the end of the year and start fresh for 2021. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I have no clue, but that might be what we do. And So yeah, I guess these products I'll just try to get as much usage as possible. Some of them I'll try really hard to hit the 20, you know, I could totally do this. There are more than 20 days in December. I might get a little burnt out, but we'll see how many I can get to. I think my goal for myself is to definitely hit 20 on the Tati Beauty, and then 20 on the blush. That's the minimum that I want to be able to do. I can keep you guys updated over on my Instagram. If you want to follow me over there, I can kind of let you know how I'm doing throughout the month on meeting these goals. I don't think I'm going to hit pan on any of these, but like I said, you know, I'll try to do the 20 uses on all of them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for checking it out. Please subscribe so that you don't miss my finale at the end of December and see what I was able to accomplish. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.